Excellent. All right. Glad I checked that. I'm 5 minutes into this video of Gary's. Now, the thing is, I was just going to take notes, and answer. And he's like making a big deal about deal with every single thing. But then I dealt with not even every single thing, and I'm already a level of he doesn't even. Why are you answering to that? Why are you talking about inheritance? What? Yeah, you brought up inheritance in that video. And as far as liar, how dare you be like, well, you didn't say that's disgusting. You say, that's disgusting. This is just in the first 5 minutes of this video. That's disgusting. Someone would call someone else a liar. Like, I guess you don't know you call me a liar all the time. Maybe you did. Yeah, you got called a liar, though really it was a more complex arrangement like that. You either have dementia, or you're a liar, or you get really confused. Right. Now, there's certain things, and it's kind of a fourth option where the confusion isn't so much confusion, except for that you're confused thinking you understand my position. But we're talking about a couple examples I used where you can't, you've proven that you know my position in the past, like about the specialness of human beings compared to other animals. Pantheist, I don't know where that came from. Sounds like made up out of your ass. No reason to think it. That could be a lie. But as far as me saying humans are somehow exceptional compared to other mammals, no, it's the other way. I've said it goes way down the tree of life, and you're the one that disagrees and says where that stops. So that makes you either a liar or demented, having some sort of amnesia, or at the very least, confused. Confused because you were thinking of vegetarianism and you forgot that the philosophy that you use to attack meat eaters is just a generalization that isn't my particular position. You don't remember my position because it's over your head. Okay? You call other people liars all the time and me quite a bit. I don't appreciate it, right? And especially since it's a simple matter of your black and white dementia. You have a psychosis, a black and white uh, schema disorder where if I don't agree with you that inheritance tax is the only tax we need, if I say, yeah, that's a good option, that's in the running, that's interesting to talk about, that's not good enough for you. As far as you're concerned, then I'm against the tax. I'm against every point of yours because if you're not 100% true, you're 100% wrong. Well, in that case, you're a million percent wrong. Okay, so the last thing on the note before what I'm going to have to do is play your video, and I'm going to play it at twice speed so that it doesn't take 40 fucking minutes, Mr. How much time you have for this. But I want to explain to you, I don't celebrate natalism directly. I do believe there's things in life and about life that should be celebrated, like kindness and empathy. Okay, so those are aspects of natalism. But I don't say if you had a baby, it's a good thing automatically, or anything like that. I'm not advocating people have babies. If anything, I caution people to think twice, and not everybody has to have babies. So, what's the difference between being pro choice and celebrating something? I said it in my video. You could try to remember this example because it's worthwhile answering. I am pro choice when it comes to abortion. It doesn't mean I'm celebrating abortion. Now, you, I believe, do celebrate abortion. That's because individuals, two pro choice people, can be different in terms of how they think about it. I mean, most pro choice people would rather not have an abortion. They think it's kind of sad. They're not even sure whether it's murder or not. They are all confused about it, like agnostics about God. And they just come down on the side of pro choice. So, the specifics now, so there's a difference between thinking somebody should have the choice to get heart surgery and celebrating heart surgery. And this last thing is, what about, does it mean that I am pro natalism in the sense that I'm not a prohibitionist? Now, there's other ways to prevent things besides being a prohibitionist. However, in that sense of pro, yes, I'm pro. I think people should be allowed to go on making that decision, and I know fully well some will. And if I thought they all wouldn't, I might evaluate that. I'm not sure. Would I say, well, some of you, if we're down to the last 1,000 people and nobody was going to have kids, would I go, well, doesn't anybody want to keep trying? Or if I was in that situation, I'd rethink and go, okay, I'll try that. In that sense, I might be pro. That's still not celebrate. Okay, so that's the kind of thing you miss um, because you play this rhetorical game. Oh yeah, one other thing before I realized that you don't even remember what you said in the video I was responding to, even though you say you should be more careful, answer every point, and then you don't even remember what you said. So I'm gonna play this so we have what you fucking said right there. All right, now the problem is I won't have time to think as much about the things. If I take notes and I keep thinking about it and then I look at my note card and then I make a video, you get a little bit of another pass. But fuck that. You're not even going to stick with your own things. Why should I worry about doing that when you can't even remember the own things you say? Like you don't know. You call people liars all the time. Where's the links? Where's the proof? Cite the exact thing. You said my position wrong on things that we've been talking about for years, and we've had conversations where you got it right. So I'd say that's probably a lie or a dementia, or maybe you're just a big showman and you don't give a fuck what you say in your videos anymore, right? Because there's this flash, people like this asshole thing. So you're like, well, I got to do that. You said I'm probably not against exploitation because it's not violent. I'm only against making rules for other people that are violent. Well, I think that exploitation is a violence, right? If you lock somebody up in a cage and throw them, you know, 500 calories too little, they'll live a long time. So that you could kill someone real slow. If you give them poison and it kills them over 5 or 6 years or 10 years, they just don't live to 80 like they would have. They live to 50. You work them too hard, you take their resources. They have problems because they can't have stability. Yeah, I count that as a kind of violence. If you have a system that holds people like that, it's like people understand the fact that slavery is legal doesn't make it happen. Slavery is a bunch of people being kidnappers. And the fact that they're all in cahoots, and if one's, you know, runs away, the other one will send them back. Well, that's no different than if you had a cabal of, criminals or, underground sex snuff films. They cooperate too, right? Okay? So that kind of thing counts as violence. There is no way to like just subtly do it so gentle it doesn't count. The handcuffs are fur, right? Now there might be slaves that um, have been beaten into a position where they can't speak up against stupid stuff, and maybe they even start to wonder themselves as they find that, they're left by their gods and there's nothing they could do, and they would buy stuff like that it wasn't really violence. But slavery is a kind of kidnapping, and so is wage slavery, where you just arrange for there's no other kind of a gig to get because you have no property. You have no actual rights. If you don't own a piece of property in the United States, you don't really actually have the right to go to sleep. You have to pay somebody that has property to let you sleep there. Otherwise, you're committing a crime in almost everywhere. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's see. How does this work? We're going to take that down. Pretty sure. Yeah, I see the chat. I wasn't reading the chat when I'm talking usually. So how do I get out of this mode here? This is annoying. So that's impossible then. Gary's video's over on this monitor and it won't. I have no idea why that's like that. Okay, let's move it over here. This thing's permanently maximized. So here we go. Double speed.
Okay, it's okay to exploit and mistreat, abuse, torture, and kill.
Okay, so you just said that I probably think it's okay to beat, torture, and kill people. So that makes you a fucking big fat liar, because you know that's not true.
They don't have citizen rights. They don't have anything like a right that trumps your silly individuals chooses a solution. Your
See, how you need to word that is that you think that my idea leads to that conclusion, but it doesn't, and you instead just said this is how I believe. So that makes you either you're having a dementia because you know I'm more liberal than that, or you're a liar. And since I disagree with you on immigration, say, then it's okay to lie your ass off about what I believe.
for the liberty for individuals to choose their solutions, and if their solution is kill it or harm it, that's okay with you. So yeah, I find that obscenely offensive and disgusting. And
Well, if you're talking about the fact that you just made that lie up, that is obscene and disgusting. And as far as whether I'm for uh, those conditions, when in fact in my video to you, I accused you of being for the sweatshops in Bangladesh because you believe that the international corporations should have open borders. NAFTA, TPP, these are all inevitable according to what you have been saying, and that's fine. We are going to do the sweatshops in Bangladesh. That's okay with you. So that's what I'm saying, and that's not a lie because this is, I'm telling you, that is the end result of your trade policy and your ideas about not letting the Bangladeshis come over here and maybe work for a better wage and a freer society. You're not for that. That's too expensive for you. That means that you're for abusing them over there. And I said to you, that's what that means. And you haven't denied it. You instead are making up an accusation against me that you don't string together logically the way I did with the fact that you like abusing Bangladeshi sweatshop workers. So that's what you like, and I gave the reasoning for why, and it's based on what you said. However, you just drew that I'm for the exploitation of workers. You just need me to rewind for you. You managed to draw that from the fact that I believe that people should be able to make their own decisions unless those decisions involve, violence against another person. And so you jumped on that I said violence as opposed to, harm, as opposed to I saying effect. And that would be fair to do that, but you didn't mention that. You just thought that and then went on to, therefore, I will lie my ass off about his being for the abuse of workers, because that will add to the conversation.
um, I guess it's almost a moot point for me to say I wouldn't live in a world created by you, and you don't want to live in a world created by me. But I'm just saying, I think I can defend the ethics I would impose, and I don't think you can defend your liberality because it just creates pollution and harm. All right.
Fair enough.
No
That
choice about
was
abusing animals.
fairly put. That's right. I wouldn't want to live in the world with your button right over there waiting for your chance.
That's his position. Calling me a liar because I called him on his silver lining BS regarding Trump. So he called me a liar regarding his position. We kept making these statements in his room where he would say things like, well, maybe Trump's not so bad. Well, Trump was a liberal back in the 80s, or Trump was a this, blah, blah, blah. He kept making rationalizations for how Trumping might not be so bad.
Okay, this is probably not a lie. This is just where you were bright enough to understand. Parts of our conversation, we were discussing, my recollection, that and I've said that the other Republicans are not exactly better. I mean, they'd be doing the same kind of policies. They're all dedicated to get an anti-Roe v. Wade guy up there, and et cetera, et cetera. And I wasn't the only one bringing up that, well, who knows what we'll get. There are these things like doing some infrastructure bills. I have also said that I think he'll sell out. If he builds infrastructure, he'll be privatizing infrastructure. Or he made this agreement with Carrier. Does no one any good. It's not even. I mean, most of the workers are still going to move, and he was saying he was going to do a 35% tariff. Well, how about just take away all of their? Don't threaten about and they're giving them a tax break. So. Um, So you know that part probably, and you're ignoring it for your rhetorical uh, lie point.
That it might not be what it looks like, which is the Republicans just got the most giant landslide victory in the history of modern America, and that they're now going to do a bunch of Republican things.
They, you're a moron to say they got a landslide. That's not the definition of a landslide. She's like over, she's like 2.5 million votes ahead now, and he got less than every other president, I think, going back to like Reagan or whatever. It's the new definition because it's like the thing about being in this everybody gets a trophy era. It's like if you win, then you got a landslide. No, a win, a, you can win without it being a landslide. It doesn't automatically make it a landslide. And if you actually got less votes and win by a technicality of our system, it's definitely not a landslide. Now they'll interpret it as a mandate, but you got to understand there's half of us still here don't have to put up with that. And if we go, yeah, they won and winning's a landslide, so they won. Yeah, but if we fight back, then it's not a landslide. See, the reason a landslide's significant is because if like 75% of the people voted for one candidate, he really can have his way. It really is. There's only 25% of the people that are set off at the beginning of his presidency to, uh, to oppose him or her, and if that ever happens, and when, uh, and that'll take time for that group to grow to the 55 where they could start to have a difference. But if you start off with 55 voted percent or 53% or what would it be 51% voted against him and 49% voted for him, then that's not a landslide. And only right wing idiots are saying it is one. So you might just be a right wing idiot and not know it.
Things. Yeah, which are going to attempt to destroy any labor unions that are left and any middle class wages, because the fact is the real enemy is the middle class. The poor is manageable, and the poor do a lot of work for hardly no wages, where the middle class usually have the nice sit down jobs, and they're expensive, and yeah, they want to get rid of them. They want a world where there's rich people and poor people. That's their ambition, and now they have the power to do it. Rich Christians, of course. All right. On your being pro-choice on animal abuse. So some more crap about somehow there's some confusion on the subject, and there isn't any. Your position is clear. You think animals are, because they can't count and they can't do philosophy, therefore they're not entitled to civilian rights as feeling organisms. And then he went.
Okay, I specifically said otherwise. And I'm not telling you the reality. We're talking about my position. I'm telling you what my position is. You can say, well, your position really adds up to this other thing, but that's not what you're saying. You're saying that I have never said that's why I do eat animals. And in the other video, the last video, I specifically said that's not why. I said I don't think it's moral. I was a vegetarian for a while. How did I fall back into it and stuff? Yeah, it's a moral failing. Where does it come from? It's not from any right to do it. It is from being part of a species that has had this tradition. I got it from when I was raised. I was being fed meat before I even knew meat was different from vegetables. So that's the reason. And I also have said, and if you listened, then you must be a big fat liar. But if you didn't listen, then maybe you're just an asshole, right? That it's not from privilege. Like, I don't think that the lions eating gazelles in Africa, I'm not for going out there and trying to stop all of that. Like, go out there right now, spend $1 trillion trying to stop that tragedy. But it's not because I think that the lions deserve the gazelles or the cheetahs deserve the gazelles or are better than the gazelles. I don't think the predator is better than the prey. So that's not why. Um, and you're just making shit up because I never said anything like that. You can say that there's only one reason, but you're not saying that.
Into this whole crap about when something can feel. Let's see if that's, I probably have that on here somewhere. Um, yeah, then it's argued that I'm the one saying humans are special. And I say exactly the opposite. I say humans are gorillas, and the only thing that makes them special is the fact that they have intelligence, which imposes responsibility. So they're not.
So I don't say they're special. I just say they're special for a reason.
They're special in exactly the way I'm claiming they should act, which is they're responsible for all the retards. They're the smartest thing on the bus, and therefore they should drive the bus. I've made that point many, many, many times.
Yeah. Most logicians would feel that was an explanation of why they were special, not a denial that you think they're special. And the fact that you're said that I was the one that think they're special, but you can't make an argument like that where I go, yeah, they're special for this reason. I just say they're different. I like being a human, but it'd be cool to be an eagle too. They're different and they've got some things going for them. Oh, this is going to take a long time this way, no matter how chipmunk voice. This does put me in the nostalgia mode. I loved back when there was the 10-minute limit, or maybe it was when there was still a 15-minute limit, and Gary would do these longer videos, but to get them in one, he'd just speed them up. What the fuck? To speed it up. And I'm like, I appreciate that. But I mean, you just making shit up just so fast. I feel like I need a break. Then I gotta stop the channel. By break, I mean a cigarette. I'm arguing with this racialist. We got a new thing we're called racialists. Uh, he's like, these races are all, they're stupider. Like the Aborigines, they're all of a 60 as an average. I'm like, well, there's a place in my society for people with, IQ 60. Because arguing how much bullshit that probably is, I don't even feel like looking at that because it doesn't matter. If there's a race of people whose IQs are all 60, fine. We should look out for them and help them do smart, productive things in society. Um, and then also these kinds of people are like, and I'm like, oh, I guess you think the Jews should run things then because they have a very high in their average IQ in the testing. Uh, Again, I think IQ standards are total bullshit, but it's not that they don't measure anything. Just like any random set of questions would measure something, you wouldn't know what it is. So it's always, what is it really measuring? But then in that case, it's like, no, because they'll come out over here and outsmart us. It's like, dude, it has nothing to do with IQ. It's just that you want to all keep separate. Because even if another nation could never, some ethnicity could never have high IQ and they'd never have a civilization, well, we're better having them into America then, right? Because if they're never going to have a decent civilization, we're going to be at war with them forever in your hypothetical magic land of crazy talk. But even in that land, we don't need to be at war with them forever. If we let them immigrate over here, we'll fit them into the society and they can do the IQ 60 jobs. Oh no. because it's about your preferences basically. That's why two intelligent people can disagree, and it's also why like Fake Sagan says his IQ is 170 or something, and I don't remember what it was. I, but anyway, that doesn't mean he can figure anything important out necessarily. It comes down to his sensibilities, and your sense. And if you just like, oh, the smell of curry bothers me, then you're not going to like India Town, all right? You might not frequent that particular uh, laundry or whatever because they're burning incense. Your intelligence isn't going to come into it. Now, I've used my intelligence in a case like that just to acquire the taste for a thing so that I could go experience this different world where the concepts might be different and find something that isn't just a piece of suburb. You can use your intelligence to do that if your predilection is to want to be able to explore that, just like you can use your intelligence to overcome a fear and train yourself out of a fear so that you could be brave enough to scuba dive. Okay, I want to take a pause, but I don't know what to do here. Yeah, I'll pause and restart. And I guess, yeah, I've got this here, so I can just say part two and part three. And I don't know, I might not continue. I only worked 7 hours today because I was like, my brain was starting to hurt with this awesome thing I'm learning about. It's so complicated. Because the concepts are kind of weird. Even the simple version is hard to wrap your head around. And this one's huge. It's all these graph links and graph theory stuff for kinds of APIs. So, I don't know. There's fucking 30 more minutes. So that'd be 15 minutes at double speed. And if I'm stopping every 4 seconds, that's a long time. Well, maybe I'll just come back and in part two, I'll let it run longer.